Recent data from the Uganda Bureau of Statistics revealed that resignations are one of the leading drivers of both the formal and informal sectors, overtaking retirement and termination. Now, with the current levels of unemployment, this poses a serious contraction given the thousands of people who leave universities and other tertiary institutions but cannot find work. I am now joined by Richard Ssebagala, a leadership development consultant from Coach Africa, to understand why someone can resign from a job in an economy that is full of job scarcity and what can be done to retain skilled and experienced workers. Good evening to you, Richard, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me, Mildred, and thank you very much for hosting me.
Well, let us start from that very point. You have seen the recent data from the Uganda Bureau of Statistics reveals that resignation is actually more than a retirement and a termination. And why is that?
Well, I actually get it, because you've got to understand, when you're looking at a work environment, you're looking at what generations are at work. You've got my generation of people who are kind of almost moving out. Then you've got the millennials around the 30-year. Then you've got the Gen Zs, and those are the people coming up. Now, my generation is a little bit more careful because we've seen it and we're thinking, hang on a minute, we'll be more patient. Millennials might be more patient, but they're also where all the changes are happening. And so they're not going to sit around and wait for things to happen because they think, actually, we can make things happen ourselves. Gen Zs are even much more different because they've been raised to do things. Whether they're working or not, they think, I can get something done. So a Gen Z will sort of, they tend to resign very quickly because they live in a world where it's quick.
Okay.
Things are happening. So if it's not happening now, they're going to look for something else.
Okay.
That is the most critical element. You've got to understand the generations and then manage their expectations.
So does this happen at the recruitment level? To understand that, okay, now this one is a Gen Z and perhaps they're not going to remain here for a long time, and so we shouldn't give them the job?
No. Yes and no. When you are recruiting, I think it's inevitable you'll have to recruit Gen Zs, because what are you going to do? They are the future. But you have to manage the expectations. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is what we expect of you. If you're not very clear, even people of my generation will be confused.
So then who has to make the adjustment in the working space? Because the employer, for instance, it's a business. It's been operating for a long time.
Long time.
People come and go.
Yes.
And usually it is you, the employee, who is supposed to adjust and fit into the system that is in place.
Absolutely. But I have to adjust to what I understand. A lot of times we hire people and we say, that's your desk. I want you there at 8 o'clock, and that's what you do. And they're thinking, okay.
They have a job description.
Yes, a job description. Okay, why am I doing it this way? The Gen Zs will ask. The millennials will ask. People my generation might not. But that has got to be answered. Who answers that question? If nobody is there to answer that question, people start looking on their phones, they look everywhere else, because to them, they should be doing something. So the managing of expectations is very, very important at the interview stage. This is who we are, this is what we do, and what do you expect of us?
Okay.
What do you want from us?
Okay.
Many times we ask these questions, but we are not ready to hear what the answers are. So number one, most critical, manage the expectations of the people you've hired and manage the expectations of the people who are already in. You need to motivate them.
But also, Richard, leaving or resignation sometimes goes beyond just with the generations. Sometimes it has to do with the culture.
Yes,
of
definitely.
The workplace.
Yes, definitely.
Some workplaces could be toxic. Do you think that also has contributed to the numbers that we have seen the UBOS releasing?
Yes, but toxicity is not in a vacuum. It just doesn't wake up in the morning and say, now we have a toxic culture. But the moment you mention culture, you're talking about leadership, because leadership designs the culture of any organization. Says, this is how we do things. The moment you say, how do we do things? The way you do things is leadership. If there's a lot of gossip, probably there is a problem with communication, up and down communication. So people don't know what the leader knows, or the leader doesn't know what they know, and then people will fill in the void.
Right.
So leadership, almost 100% of the time, is the be-all, end-all of culture and how people do things in any organization. It's very, very critical. Yes, today, yesterday, and in the future. It's almost 100% leadership.
All right, so as we conclude this conversation, what then will it take, or what then does an employer need to do to be able to retain or to have a culture that retains its employees, but also create a conducive environment for people to stay there for as long as they want?
That is now, that's why I mentioned a little bit of the communication. Communicate the vision. This is what we can do, and this is what we cannot do.
Okay.
And this is what we can do to motivate people. It's very, very important that people feel there is something in it for them. This is what we have for you, this is what is in it for you, and this is what is in it for us.
Okay.
Once those are, people will come and go. But once people are clear, okay, this is what I get out of it, then they will stay because there's something in it for them.
Okay.
And that is very, very important. When I talk about aligning expectations, that is almost the be-all, end-all. My expectation as an employer, the things I want, be clear about them, but also give me a chance to be clear about my own expectations. Because as I work for you, there's something in it for me. Okay. And be willing to give me some of what I want.
Finally, what would be your parting shot? Before we came on air, I told you I have somebody that I almost check on. If I check on them every other 3 months, they have already switched a job. So what would be your parting shot, especially to that person that perhaps is thinking of resigning tomorrow?
What I would tell them is take a shot and go to whoever you report to and say, these are my expectations. What do you have for me given my expectations? Take a shot, because what they might say, okay, yes, we can accommodate them or not. But either way, you are better off taking a shot and saying, these are my expectations. This is how I'd like to work. What do you think about that? And see what the employer or your boss or whoever it is says. So that's what I would tell them. Okay. Take a shot. If they say no, decide what to do.
All right. Thank you. That is Richard Ssebagala, a leadership development consultant from Coach Africa, helping us to understand, number one, why is it that people are always leaving their jobs so quickly? But then also, what does it take for the employer to make that environment conducive for the workers to stay?